I'm still in watching these games. I kind of can't believe how bad the Cardinals are because they shouldn't be this bad. I'm not saying they should be great. I'm not even saying they should be good. But to be the worst team in the National League, it still makes no sense because when you look at the names, they should not be the worst team in the National League. They shouldn't even be close. At least around 500. You got Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado and Nolan Gorman. Miles Michaelis was decent.
What's their payroll this year?
I think it's, what is it? Is it up near 180-ish?
It's like top 10?
I think it's more
right
like
on the outskirts.
I think it's
11,
more like
12,
14th-ish.
Just asking.
I believe. Let's look it up.
But just curious.
The thing that makes it so frustrating, Charlie's right, is that I think they should be good, how good, but the way they're losing, it's always the same kind of game, but they lose in different ways. Like last night, they battled offensively against one of the premier pitchers, a guy who was holding opponents to a 102 batting average going into the game, which is second best in Major League history in the month of April ever, right? A guy who was striking guys, but they battled. They got some runs on the board.
Yes.
And they were ready to take it home. And here comes Gio, who's been good this year.
Yes.
He's been a solid reliever. And he totally fell apart. So if it's not that, right, we've seen them get shut out offensively.
Yes.
We've seen times where they've gotten offense, but the starting pitching had put them in too deep a hole. It's like, or we've seen the defense fail them. It's a different version of the same
something
loss.
different. Yeah,
it's crazy.
They're tanking for Bedard, just like you said.
Yeah. According to Spot Track, it is basically $159 million. League average is $160 million, a little bit over. So the Cardinals are essentially right in the middle, just right there leading the second half in terms of payroll.
Okay.
Which is, you're talking league average for a team. I don't think they should be league average. I'm not saying they should be top 5, but I think the Cardinals with $3 million plus every year, you could be around 12th.
Yeah.
You could be around 11th.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
You could spend another, again, if they got to 175, 180, that's that ace starting pitcher that you need.
Yeah.
That's an extra $25 million for an Aaron Nola type. I know he wasn't available, but that's something they could really use.
Or a meat eater in the middle of that order.
A big T-Rex.
That is funny. Like you could say, man, they need a big bat in there. They don't. Or you could say, man, they need that big starting pitcher. Or there are other times you're like, they need another piece in that bullpen.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot. There's a lot going on. Let me check something out real quick. Let me check my notes real quick. I think we all need a little block dispensary after watching these here Cardinals.
It's time to get your mind right with Cam's Notebook, presented by Block Dispensary on 590 The Fan.
Ooh, block dispensary, baby. What is up? Let me check my notes. Yep, the Cardinals lost again. Woo! Good God. You were pumped up, too, by the way, Jimmy. Jimmy's going to go down and have a nice, happy interview. Everybody's going to be cheering.
See, but the weird part now is, like, usually over the years, you could say, oh, you're a right shoulder. Oh, Hayes again. But generally speaking, you'd think at some point, the Cardinals are not out of it. They're going to win this or they're going to hold. They win a lot of games. This year.
Used to.
Yeah, this year you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. This year you're waiting for something to go wrong. And I think Ollie admitted that that's probably creeped into the players a little bit, too, where when everything is going wrong, it's human nature to have that creep in.
I know there's been a lot of turnover with managers, but if this keeps going, another 2 weeks, and you're just losing games in weird ways, and you're not finding your stride, and guys are going through different funks, and then you're having more press. Like, is the seat getting a little warm?
I would say no, but we've also never been in a spot where the Cardinals are actually in last place deep into the season. That changed the conversation. I still don't think they're going to end up in last place. I think they can even creep back towards 500. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs, but if you ask me in 2 months and they're still in last place, that's in rarefied air for the St. Louis Cardinals. We don't see that.
I know.
And you can't fire a team.
I know.
That's why a lot of times it's not the manager's fault and everyone knows it, but they got to make a change.
Make a change.
I'm not saying Ollie's in the hot seat because I don't think he's going to get fired. But if you're a manager and your team is going through this, you're going to feel
Well, the Blues fired the
everyone's gonna
team,
feel it.
basically. You know?
Well, don't you think if the Cardinals, who we all thought would be buyers a little bit at the trade deadline, if they're not in it, you got Jack Flaherty, whose deal is up. I mean, that's a trade chip.
Yeah.
Tyler O'Neill would have a year and a half at that point.
Yep.
And you still have a jumbled outfield, and you still need a starter for next year. So
You got work to do,
I
Charlie.
would think the Cardinals would be active regardless of their placement in the standings.
Cole,
Yep.
what would you do if you're Ollie? What would you do? What kind of game plan would you have? What would you say to these guys? What do you think about this Cardinal team? I know that's a lot
I don't
of
know
questions,
what the
but
hell
tell me something.
I would say to them. I think they're way too talented to have the record that they do, at least in the lineup. I'm unsure about the pitching, but that was a concern coming into this season. But one thing that I would do is I would put Donovan in the outfield, and I would also have him leading off, which he did a lot of last year. I don't really know what he did wrong to be basically put near the bottom of the order, but he was basically your steady leadoff guy last year, a little bit with Tommy Edman too. And then this season, I haven't checked his stats this week, but last I saw, he was on a somewhat of a hot streak. He had like a .310 batting average over a 10-game stretch, and he was batting 7th or 8th in the lineup. So I don't really know what that's all about. But part of that's because Lars Nootbaar's walk rate is insane, which I don't think is sustainable. But I would
Nutani?
Yeah, Nutani.
Yeah.
I would put Brendan Donovan in the outfield because I think your outfield's incredibly unreliable at this point. And I'm not just talking about yesterday's game or whatever. I know Dylan Carlson had a home run, fantastic for him. He needed one, so it was good for him to see that. But I think you got to kind of create some space in the middle of the infield because there are a lot of guys contending for spots right now, and I think that you got to put all of them on the field. And you got to take a guy who's a utility guy like Brendan Donovan and take advantage of his ability to play multiple positions and put him in the outfield more than he currently is.
I'd rather see him defensively, though, anywhere but the outfield. I don't think he's as good as an outfielder. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
He's good everywhere. But I think he's at his best as defensively as an infielder.
I agree with that 100%.
And I also think Carlson in center is head and shoulders their best defensive player.
Yes.
In center.
I agree with that entirely as well.
And this, just so you know, this is St. Louis. This isn't Pittsburgh, where they can let the team rot for a decade and then rebuild.
How about now?
We don't do that.
How about now?
How about now?
How do you like me now?
All those awful decades are worth it.
We don't let the team rot for a decade.
They're looking down at the Cardinals now in last place and saying, "How about you?"
Would you do that?
How you guys doing?
Would you do that?
Would I do what?
Would you be happy if the Cardinals just let it rot and then they had one good year, or was it like sustained?
No, and I'm not happy that my team has done that either.
They're groomers. They're groomers.
But hold on.
I'm tired of being a punchline.
Pittsburgh, though, they're investing. They got young players now under contract. They're spending a little money.
We're getting them on cheap contracts, too. Ke'Bryan Hayes and Brian Reynolds both signed cheap contracts, which I am shocked about.
Reynolds. I wanted Reynolds.
Yeah.
That it was that Archer trade that destroyed them for a stretch.
Yeah.
They went out and they were trying to mix young players and trying to trade and sign some guys, and that Archer thing destroyed.
Yeah, we gave up Austin Meadows and Tyler Glasnow for him. Tyler Glasnow was awesome until he kept getting hurt, so now he's a little bit unreliable. But there was a point there where as soon as we traded him, he was like the best pitcher in the American League immediately. But when he was in Pittsburgh, man, he could not throw strikes. So that trade was bad. Chris Archer had like the worst ERA in the entire MLB. He was horrible, and I'm sure Cardinals fans have fond memories of him in a Pirates uniform. He was terrible.
Get him in. 855-282-8255. I'm not messing around. Get him in and get him in now. Wombat chimes in. This guy is such a simp. He's even ride or die for a manager who's 36 and came in with absolutely no MLB managing experience for a team who's 10-21. Uh-oh, the simp.
Good one.
The simp
Good one.
bomb's
Like,
coming
when
out.
did I say?
I don't think. Was he talking to Jim about that? Or was he talking about Ollie being a simp?
I don't know.
Exactly, Kat. They are waiting for something to fall. That's why they sent the pitching coach out before Gallegos threw a pitch. Sharon, she put something up on. We're on the side of Enterprise Center. Did you see that?
I did. That's awesome.
They took down Towel Man and put us up there. About time, Caruso.
And you know what? I agree with Ollie in the post game because he's He's holding the media accountable because it's the media's fault.
It is.
That they're losing. But I don't really think you can. I don't really think you can chirp. Honestly, I kid. I don't think you can chirp bringing in Gio. It just didn't work. Nothing they do right now works. And I understand if you look and you see Helsley through whatever it was, 10 pitches. That is not how baseball teams these days view the usage of their relievers. Whether you like it or not, they do it based on getting up and sitting down and basically warming up again. So it's not just 10 pitches. It's 3 times that you're going out there and throwing your warm-up pitches, right? It's how many times you're basically charging your body up and your arm up to go out there. They don't like going 3 times with Helsley. You can disagree with that. Gio has been awesome. It just didn't work. Like right now, it's like that Vegas Vacation movie when they bring in the new dealer for blackjack and Chevy Chase just loses every possible way. Like anything they do, it could be the right decision. It could be the right mathematical analytics decision. They get burnt.
And he laid out the bullpen actually very well. You know, it's easy to say I would have stayed with this guy. Hindsight's always 20/20. But as that's unfolding, I'm like, well, Hicks was good, right? Hicks has been really good ever since he changed it up a little bit because his stuff is sick.
He's got electric stuff.
His stuff is sick. Helsley was good, and then you turn it over to Gio, who arguably may have been their best, late game guy, most efficient at that point in the season, and it blew up in his face.
Well,
I don't know what else you could do.
Also, Helsley's never recorded a 7-out save in his career. So that would have been something new for them to do that. And Geigo's numbers speak for itself.
I say whatever your decision is, make the opposite decision and see what happens.
Yes.
There you go,
Fade yourself.
That's Costanza.
I know.
Just do the opposite.
Just do the opposite.
Sometimes when you're gambling and you're losing every game, you go, whatever I think to bet, do the opposite.
Exactly.
No, but that's where it comes into play where managers say, I threw the lineup into a hat and just pulled out names. Do that today.
Go ahead.
Do it today.
We got King James on? Oh, boy. What up, King? What up, King? What's on your mind?
What up? What's going on, fellas?
We're chilling, man.
What's up?
Hey, Cam. Hey, you didn't say nothing wrong. You can't compare. They don't got no reason to have Nuke Bar and Otani in the same sentence.
Thank you.
They don't compare. They don't compare at all.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? They can't even use the bath. Use a public restroom together. So
one's got a private jet.
That sounds like discrimination.
Well, it might be, but listen, Simp Hayes over there talking about the Pirates rotten. Dude, what are we doing? We ain't won nothing. What are you talking about, man? You suck at your
You're going to
job.
compare.
Oh, wow.
Come on. You're going to compare
James, he doesn't.
Really? You're going to compare what the Pirates went through to this month of baseball? No offense, James. You need to calm down. Go shopping. Go to a mall. Get one of those fancy bags. Put it over your shoulder. James, I'm trying to help you. I appreciate that you care because you're a fan and fans should be upset. But you need to relax. Go browse a little bit. Maybe get a latte at Starbucks and walk around. Hey, I heard they have new T-shirts over here. I'm going to go check them out. You'll feel better.
Why we ain't talking about Brody Sandwich? Why you talking about Anthony Rendon's contract? That ain't got nothing to do with this sucker-ass team, man.
I wasn't allowed to bring that up?
Let's be honest, man. I'm just saying.
I wasn't allowed to bring that up?
Who is Marmar to tell the media that nobody's more frustrated than the clubhouse? The fans are paying the bills. This Ponzi scheme that keep running every year.
I'm going to see if Ollie will go shopping with you, and together
man,
you guys can find some fancy shoes and giggle, and then maybe reach common ground. I want you to reach common ground. Don't be so upset.
We don't have to talk about the Pirates. They're looking down on this horrible team.
Well, I talked about the Pirates because that's Cole's team. Yeah. That's all.
What do you want to happen here, James? What do you think should happen?
I don't think. I think this is over, man. This is done. This is you're watching reality checks be written. That's what's happening right now.
It's over.
I think they might finish 500. They ain't going to no playoffs. Even if they get in the playoffs, they ain't gonna make no noise. They ain't got nothing coming, man.
They might get in the playoffs.
I don't think they'll get in the playoffs. I don't.
Man.
I don't think so, man.
Playoffs?
They got to call some of these young pitchers up, man. You know, I mean, we keep throwing Max out there. You got to get Liberatore up here. You know, McGreevy, Gorcefo, some of these guys, or trade them, man. Do something, man. Get some pitching. The outfield's a mess. We heard about all this outfield in the winter that, oh, man, they got depth. None of them guys are performing, man. It's
Hey,
horrible,
James, can I
man.
say something? I agree with you.
Oh, my God.
I want to see Liberatore.
No.
I want to see Liberatore.
There you go.
don't
Tearing
agree.
it up. He's done all the stuff that they asked him to do. I think it's time we take a look at him.
Say that you want Max out of the rotation and you want Liberatore in there.
That's fine.
Let's agree.
That's fine. That might happen.
Okay, all right, man. We came to a common
Look
ground
at that.
for the first time. Man.
Now listen.
I
Now
don't have
listen.
nothing- hey, you know
I know
what?
it's a
You're
rough
not
time
bad
because
at
Bed
your
Bath & Beyond went under, but there's other stores me and you can kind of shop together and just kind of get to know each other.
Hey, Jim, you're all right, man.
All
We
right.
finally came to
Whoa.
an agreement on something.
There we
man.
go.
We came to an agreement on something.
I love it,
I
man.
don't got nothing else to say, man. I just want
Thanks
to
for calling.
Thanks,
connect
James.
with you guys.
The more I think about the definition of a Ponzi scheme, the more I think he's kind of onto something. Every year, Cardinal fans just donate all of their money to a team year in and year out that doesn't really try to win a World Series anymore. They just keep it competitive enough to keep them coming back. They keep throwing out those bobbleheads and belt bags, which I'll tell you about, by the way.
Bag.
Everyone wants
Especially
a belt bag.
Tiger
Everyone wants a
series.
belt bag.
The belt bag, the Ryan Helsley bobblehead. What else they got?
Wait, can I tell you something?
They got the kids' hooded pullover coming up this weekend.
I'm going to get an extra belt bag, and I'm going to get it for James.
Yes.
Because that seems like everyone wants one of
That's
those.
a good idea.
And I'm going to get one for King James.
He wants
He can
Gucci
come in
though.
here and get it.
He wants a Gucci bag.
Just write Gucci on that
Look,
mug.
they got a kiosk at the mall. He can get it labeled the
Yeah.
way he wants to. He knows where to get that done.
Maybe too analytical can't work in a game of failure. Have to use some feel. I get what Joey said, but it's 10 pitches and try something opposite than what the numbers have been telling you. Jim, the Pittsburgh was a bad joke because the Cardinals owners have been riding the fans' money for over 5 years now, Zach.
Well, it's not a bad joke. I was talking to Cole because Cole's a Pirates fan. And if you're going to compare what Pirates fans, and yeah, the Pirates are a good young team. I don't think they're going to stay at that level this year, but they're setting themselves up for success in the future, even if it doesn't go well this year, because they do have a lot of young talent. But I wanted our young friend Cole to understand that this is 1 year for the Cardinals that's awful.
Yep.
I mean, awful.
Yep.
They've had a long time of sadness. That happens for some fan bases.
What about We Are Family?
Oh,
What about Jim Leland?
the 70s? Oh,
We Are
the
Family was-
90s.
Andrew McCutcheon.
Jim Leland quit on us, and he quit on a bunch of other people too.
Don't you dare talk about Perrysburg, Ohio native Jim
Yeah.
Leland.
Tony La
That's
Russa's
right.
buddy.
That's right.
Smoking cigarettes in the dugout with his
Yeah.
cleats on.
That's old school.
Yelling at Barry Bonds. But that one text was interesting. Maybe too analytical, got to work in some feel. I agree with that entirely. But I also admit, as critical as I have been sometimes of Waldemar Mall throughout the year, I do admit last night was kind of a no-win situation because if Helsley goes out there after only 10 pitches and then you go, you sent him out there for a third inning of work,
Yeah.
and then if he gets,
He gets rocked.
hit up a little bit, I think people are going to be critical of that.
Of course they
And
go.
then
Yeah, it's Captain Hindsight.
Your best guy this season, most consistent of the end of game guys was Gio. Why didn't you use him?
Yeah.
I think he should have taken, based off the performance this season, Giovanni Gallegos absolutely should have taken precedent over Ryan Helsley. So I think that's something that we got to be honest about. I'm being fair, I feel, in that situation. Giovanni Gallegos gave up 4 hits heading into heading into that game this season. So he's been fantastic. So look,
He was due for a bad outing.
He should have known. He should have known that. His number
Ollie
was up.
should know he was
Yep.
due.
Hey, Kat, don't say how good Hicks was last night. In his total of 1 inning pitch, he gave up 1 hit and had 2 bases on balls. That's a whip of 3. Quit apologizing. Through and
No,
through.
if you look at his last 5 appearances, they've been outstanding. And all I'm saying is, this is a guy everyone wanted to cut loose. His stuff is great. Okay, he doesn't always harness it. I would say there's a little immaturity, but he's corrected it, and he's been really, really good.
Some great fireballs tonight.
Am I wrong on that? Hicks has been really good.
Who is that?
That's just Kyle Mooney from Saturday Night Live.
I like it.
His command has gotten a lot better. There still needs to work on it a little bit.
Right, but look at I'm just saying, last 5
He finished his point.
last 5 appearances.
He's doing better.
It's good.
Charlie.
It's good.
Wombat chimes in.
Don't worry, you're going to make that same point in a few minutes.
It'll be much better, though.
You should go shopping with King James.
Yes, I need you to teach me about baseball. Please.
I know, you're the expert.
Please. Please tell me.
Oh, man. Okay. Wombat chimes in and goes, hey, don't worry. The president feels really good about this team despite the rough start. Have some gosh darn self-awareness for once. Fans do not want to hear this. Cardinals, so there's, I guess, Katie Wu interviewed BD3, and he said, I still feel really good about this team and the roster, DeWitt said, according to Athletic Katie Wu. I mean, you don't have a situation where they're going to, they're coming in fast, dude, where they're glaring, hold on. I mean, you don't have a situation where there are glaring spots occurring. Of course, you would love, man, they keep coming in and they keep screwing things up. Anyway,
Damn it.
He's not pissed.
Don't blame technology.
I shouldn't blame technology. I can't read. There
There's
it is.
not a glaring spot.
But I can't breathe.
How about the starting rotation?
Okay, one more time. I'm going to try again.
3-2-1.
3-2-1. I still feel very good about the team and the roster, DeWitt said, according to Katie Wu. I mean, you don't have a situation where there are glaring spots occurring. Of course, you love for the pitching to be better, but I think you're just seeing a number of things that appear to be unusual, one-off situations in April. At least, I hope so. That's BD3. Good hockey player.
I think, so to me, if you just look at it, what's gone wrong? Everything, right? Everything.
Yeah.
And
In every kind of way.
Different night, it's a different thing that goes wrong. So it makes it hard to figure out what that one area is. Do we agree on that? Like, there's times they hit, and then the starting pitching was awful. They got to stretch a decent pitching performance by the starting rotation. They didn't hit. Or they're rotating people in the outfield, and all of a sudden the defense bites them in the butt.
Yeah. The Pats looked good last night, though, didn't it?
Looked great.
Looked great.
Seth says the offense and defense can't coexist.
I want that bumper sticker.
Yeah.
I want that bumper sticker.
I
Just going 55 in the fast one.
It's good. It's good.
Make sure I get my my credit.
You get your credit where it's due, homeboy. Absolutely.
But they're real quick. They're 10th in batting average. They're 12th in on base percentage, and then they're 20th in runs per game, and then I think runners in scoring position. They're 20th as well.
Which
so
is
if they
brutal.
can just naturally, that will get better.
And they're top
getting on
5
base.
in a hard hit rate, too. Like, all the offensive numbers, if you look at just some of them, you're like, this team's an offensive juggernaut. And then, are they getting the big hit? Obviously not with their wrist. There's other things that show a picture of an offense that is totally inconsistent.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. And then on the other end, their whip is a 1.45, which is like 26 in the league. So that's the thing, too. While we're not getting guys, while the Cardinals aren't getting runners home, they're also leaving a lot. They also have a lot of guys on base when they get out of jams.
Yeah.
Like
so the command's just got to be a little better.
Last night they had a runner at third, nobody out, and they couldn't bring him home.
Yeah.
To amplify
That's got to
your
happen.
point.
And you can't be mad when you score 4 runs on Shohei Ohtani. It's the same against Luis Castillo. Sometimes you got to win that game 4-3. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball. He struck out 13. You still got to him. Sometimes you have to win a game 3-1, 4-3. You can't have your offense needing 7 every game to win. As Ali said, and I agree with, the whole league would take 4 runs off Shohei Ohtani, who comes in with a sub-2 ERA and can punch out 13 dudes. Last night versus that pitcher, the offense did its job.
It did.
It's hard to score runs off Shohei Ohtani.
Gorman. Yeah, man.
They made him work, too. He had, 50 pitches after 2?
He was throwing, man. That dude, he's special. Him and Newt. We know what Gallegos does in the 9th inning. Helsley the 10 pitches. Another example of Ollie having no situational awareness. Gino Ojic, Bevo Mill. He even played minor league ball. Good to see the Deadbirds have stopped with the pepper grinder BS. It didn't.
Not a whole lot to celebrate recently. That might be.
Man, come on.
No, they scrapped
Oh, they did.
They
Good.
scrapped the whole thing.
I didn't see anybody do it.
I
They've been listening to the
stand
show.
that celebration.
What's that?
I said I couldn't stand that celebration.
you.
I'm glad they got rid of it for the exact same reason that you couldn't stand it.
Thank you. No, I really like you, Cole. Dang right.
Thank you.
Because
Thank
it's
you for
sexually
agreeing.
suggestive?
Because
Yeah.
it's pornographic.
Thank you. I don't like that stuff. I don't like
It might be more. Wait, you hate it because the Japanese prime minister did it on national television in Japan? Is that why you hate it?
I think the Japanese prime minister is grooming the people watching it. That's what I have to say.
I know. Very bizarre. I can help fix the problem. It's called John Mozeliak. I also have a solution. Fire his ass today. This dumpster fire is 100% on him. Oh, yeah. And Ollie, yes, we the people who are paying your salary are more frustrated than you are. Show me your frustration and be better. Joe Boo.
I do think there's definitely something to John Mozeliak being more responsible than Ollie Marmol, because Mozeliak's the one who made the hire. And when Ollie Marmol went through the interview process to get this job, he probably laid it all out there, all of his strategies. So if you hate Ollie Marmol's strategy, John Mozeliak the one who signed off on it.
How about Bill DeWitt Jr., though?
Fire
who
all
signs off on the payroll, which we mentioned is $159 million. It's 16th
Get
best
him
in
out.
baseball. 16th best in baseball.
Fire him too.
Look who's ahead of them. Look who's ahead of them in payroll. Teams like the Braves, Cubs even ahead of them in payroll. Cubs haven't tried the last couple years. That's the difference.
I get you, man.
I mean, again, it takes nowadays $25 million to get a big-time starting pitcher. It takes that same amount to get a game-changing bat. They just gave Miles Michaelis a 2-year extension. I know they added some money this year, but for $40 million.
On a selfish note, when it is a dumpster fire, it makes the show go by a lot faster. I'm just telling you. Just on a selfish note, no big deal. I'm
I
just
agree.
saying. The text line.
Be great
is blowing
or
up.
be awful.
There you go.
Don't be
Thank
in
you.
between.
Thank you. Thank you.
Be interesting.
Be interesting.
No,
There it is.
to me,
There it is.
RFR, root for radio.
Yep.
To me, I get what you're saying, and it happens.
I know.
But like last night, that was demoralizing.
I know.
That was a demoralizing loss.
It was.
There was nothing fun or cute about that loss.
No.
Like, you could almost deal with it. If it's 5-0, you know what's going to happen. All right, maybe you don't watch a couple innings and go get a sandwich. I don't know.
I get you, man.
Last night, they snatched
The soul out of you.
defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yep.
Some people have jobs you can never take a day off.
That's true. EMS, fire, police,
That's right.
military,
You're dang right.
doctors, nurses, not
Radio.
baseball, media, radio reporters, not us.
Doctors,
You're not in baseball media.
doctors
You
don't
can't
take
get in
days off?
What if they have an emergency? They don't come in?
I don't know. I was trying to find a rheumatologist. They said you can get an appointment in 7 months. Someone got some days
Oh,
off
yeah,
there.
dude. Well, I'm hurting now. Well, you got to wait 7 months. Look how long he had to wait.
There's
He
people
had a
ahead of
thing-
you.
He had a thing in his stomach crawling out of it, moving around.
Maybe you heard about the fact that for COVID, they put off all these elective surgeries, and now they're all coming to
Wow.
roost
Yeah,
at the
well.
same time.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I'm saying if you're a rheumatologist and you're like in some small town somewhere and you're streaming this show, get to St. Louis Stat.
Get here.
You can write your own ticket.
Get here now. Don't worry about being vaccinated. All right. Sharon chimes in and goes, can we talk about how they sent the pitching coach out there to talk to Gallegos before he even threw a pitch? It's like they were saying, don't F this up before he even threw a pitch. They had no confidence. At least that's what that implies. The writing was on the wall for the fail. Never should have done that with such a fragile situation. Don't even introduce the idea. Sports is so mental, Sharon.
See, I didn't even notice that, to be
didn't
honest.
either.
So, Sharon, thank you.
Yep.
I was already getting the balloons out for my balloon
I-
party, you know? I was setting up the decorations.
Yeah.
They won a game. Oh, wait. They didn't.
Isn't that? And that is like the perfect underscoring of how bad things are. I was thinking about it. Like, it was going to be a big deal because they won a game, and they didn't even win that game.
Pretty
That's
early,
how bad
guys,
things
but it is over.
DeWitt crime family deserves most of the blame. Mo would spend more if they would allow him. Y'all know-
Excuse me. It's the Hadley crime family. Let's be honest. Let's define our terms. And we still have some members of that crime family waiting in the weeds.
That's a very nice cut sheet you have in front of you, by the way.
It's a
Beautiful.
lovely cut sheet.
Here's the problem, though, I think, with what's happening. It's very Blues-esque because the Cardinals have dug themselves such a hole that now may not make sense to add at the deadline.
I know.
Same with the Blues.
Yeah.
If the Blues would have been 5 to 10 points better, they probably don't deal Tarasenko, O'Reilly. They go for it. If you're the Cardinals, they've been around 500 the last couple years. At the deadline, they've added. Well, now if they're 5 games under 500, you start to look at the odds to make the playoffs. It probably doesn't make sense to add, and now you're trading away the likes of a Jack Flaherty potentially and others. That's what happens when you dig yourself such a hole that takes multiple months to get out of.
I agree with that. But on the other side of the coin, as you rightfully pointed out, they can also bring in people looking ahead to next year.
That's great, but not for this year.
But yeah, it could help them at least some. But a guy like Flaherty, absolutely, I understand what you're saying. But there is another side to that coin.
How can you be top 10 in attendance and out of the top 15 in payroll? Thanks, Bally's. Wombat.
Bally's?
That's what he said.
We're paying our bills here. What?
How about Colby Rasmus' daddy chimes and goes, "Hey Cole, how about you say that to Kiz next week? Pepper Grinder was his brainchild." Ooh.
It was.
So then I asked him, I said, how would you want me to phrase that question? Because that doesn't sound like a question. And he said, don't ask, just tell him you hate it.
Listen,
We've asked him about it being, haven't we asked him about it being sexually suggestive?
I think so.
A little bit?
All right, well, if you've already asked him, then
He's so nice. He would laugh.
I know.
He'd be like, I appreciate your input, Cole.
He's just a nice dude.
he's a clean cut guy. So all the people that think there's some other thing to that, absolutely wrong. And by the way, I'm not only a rights holder, but I'm a Hot Take Central participant.
Yeah.
So when I say, what are we going to do with this roster? I say, well, we start with Kiz.
Yeah.
And then we look at everyone else. But Kiz is untouchable.
He's untouchable, baby.
Even if look, I love Andrew Kisner. I love that he comes on this station. But even if he didn't know that it had some double entendre, possibly. Even if he didn't know, you
That's
don't
even
think
worse.
somebody eventually said, "Hey, you know what this
Hell
looks
yeah!
like?"
Jimmy. Oh, get out of here, Jimmy.
Somebody,
Absolutely not.
Somebody
Listen,
in that locker
come
room
on.
Listen,
said, "Hey, this
Get
is
out
funny. Let's
of
keep it going."
here.
Listen,
I
between
believe we're doing this on TV.
between Newt and Kiz, they don't think like that.
No.
They don't- and you know, Newt is friends with Ohtani.
Newt's thinking about Ohtani all day.
So, and if Ohtani does it, then obviously it's all clean cut. Yeah, they don't. If there's any other connotation, they didn't even realize it. Clean cut guys.
Jackie Parlays, what's up, homie? I think the situation is as simple as Ollie Marmol has bad vibes, and he has no man-managed skills and no sense of instilling confidence in his players. You're reading that a lot.
I don't agree, but I think you're at the point now where, okay, like things are terrible, so you can, like, to me, every theory put in play because they can't win a game. I get it. People are frustrated.
Pissed, man. How much you guys think Stiefel pays for that patch per season? Enough for a front-end starting pitcher? Question mark. That was like, you trot that out.
Timing could have been a little better.
A front end starting.
He could have, I don't know.
That's where the Stiefel money's
What do you-
going.
Like, let me ask
Aaron
you.
Nola.
Not only
People always talk about
I'm just-
optics, and I get it. Optics. But, I mean, you're the business side of the franchise. You already had worked this out.
back a week.
You don't spend, though. That's the thing. That's why people are mad.
Yeah.
You don't spend.
And then you do
There's
this.
another revenue stream coming in that you will not use on the product on the field. That's why people are mad.
I'm not even questioning that. I'm not even arguing. I'm just saying, though, like, you worked out this deal, and you had to tie up some loose ends, so you couldn't announce it at the start of the season. But it was in the works. It didn't happen yesterday. I know the optics aren't, but that was, they're just putting a patch on their jersey.
Spend some damn money then. I'm just thinking. I'm
listen,
saying what the fans think. That's all.
No, and I think the way the season has gone, the Cardinals had a very set way of doing things. They didn't spend on big starters, right? They tried to be as efficient they could with the money, right? They spend, but maybe not as much as fans want. Maybe now they say, that's not working. We're going to have to roll the dice and spend some coin on one of these big pitchers. Maybe they're forced into it now.
Rick Floss goes. Vic Faust needs to Vic Faust needs to give the Cards a locker room speech, and he sent the picture of him. Good God! Since Holiday was an all-star in the outfield, Jay Craig. A lot of names I'm not going to be able to.
Alan Craig?
No, he said
John
Jay
Jay and Alan Craig.
You could read that one.
John J. Craig.
Yeah, okay, that's what it is. That's just too long. They keep coming in, and I keep screwing everything up. Sorry, dudes. Keep them coming, by the way, 855-282-8255. Let it out.
Cow.
I know, let it out.
If you have hate in your heart, let it out.
Let it out right now, okay? Let it out. Be nice to Jim, though, because a couple of those I'm not reading, okay? Be nice.
Why are they so mad at Jim?
I don't know.
I mean, I like it
What
for
is
the
going
show.
on here?
No, read it. I don't care if you read it.
He's the whipping boy because he works alongside the Cardinals.
Yeah. They're on him. They just want you to put your foot down a little bit, Jimmy.
Also, I think they want you to be as upset as they are
Yeah.
because you seem to have a glass half full perspective instead of glass
Do
half
I
empty.
really? Like, do you think? Here's the thing. Let's be honest. Do you think it doesn't benefit me if the Cardinals win? Do you think that my job is easier or harder when they're losing? It's harder.
No doubt.
It's harder. So I want them to win outside of the fact that I'm a fan too.
Yeah.
Which I'll admit. But
Whoa.
it makes my job easier when they win.
It does.
I want them to win. And every player in that clubhouse wants to win. Why? Because it benefits them personally, outside of the team concept, outside of representing the fans in St. Louis. There's an element that it will effectively help them independently of whatever goes on with the team. So, yes, they want to win too. And for me, last night broke my heart. It was demoralizing. I want them to win too. But to me, just because they're playing awful baseball right now, I'm not going to start name calling and calling to fire everybody. I don't do that.
I liked how you played that little sad music when he was getting
Maybe they do need to fire someone, though.
Tiny violin.
In all seriousness,
Ooh, baby.
I know it's
Who?
early to fire. It's not too early to panic about the standings, but man, it is really bad.
I know.
It's really bad. And I honestly think at some point, even if someone doesn't deserve to be sent out or whatever, sometimes you got to shake it up just to shake it up. And I wonder how, I don't think someone's going to be fired short term. But I do think if they don't start putting together a winning streak, I do think we're going to see some roster churn just to shake it up because you got no other choice. I said this before, their most impressive offensive player is Luken Baker, who's just got 11 homers. And he's hitting for average, too, which he never did. There's no place to put him. You know what? If you have a guy on the roster who never plays, give me a guy who might hit a 500-foot homer and a pinch hit at bat once in a while. I'll take that.
And that's why I understand people are ripping Ollie, but at the end of the day, still, the roster still doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. Even from a prospect standpoint, somebody like Walker, he's not really an outfielder. Long term, he might be a first baseman. You obviously have
I like that.
You have Goldie, you have Arenado, and it's like here's a guy who's an amazing hitter, but he's not really an outfielder. He could be, he will be, but he's learning.
Yeah.
And everybody doesn't really fit. We're talking about moving Brendan Donovan, which is a good point. He's a super utility guy, but then you're looking at the production of the outfielders. You're thinking, well, maybe we should replace some of the outfielders with Brendan Donovan. But they kind of all have the same numbers. Even Donovan, by the way, his OBP last year was pushing 400. It's not that this year. So hopefully it gets to that point. But right now, he doesn't have a good on-base percentage. That's what we all counted on.
That's why he's not leading off. That's why, early on it was really slow. And to me, again, he's a great defensive player. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't have the metrics in front of me. I have the eye test. He wasn't great in the outfield compared to how great he is. When he's at first base, he gives you Goldie-type defense, you know? When he's at third, he's been great. He's been excellent at second base. Outfield, that's, to me, not optimizing his defensive prowess.
No, I agree with that, but I guess I'm just taking the offensive perspective of just put as many good bats in the lineup as you can and then figure it out. You know, maybe sacrifice one or two. And Dylan Carlson, I really like Dylan Carlson in center, and I don't think he has a great bat. I know he had a home run yesterday, and hopefully that can spark something for him, but I wouldn't mind sacrificing his bat in the order to have him play center.
I like his defense in center. I think that stabilizes things in the outfield. The problem is, and I'll kind of, like Ali, the players kind of make the lineup. They've been waiting for one of these outfielders to get traction and get going, and none of them have. You know, like if O'Neill was in left and was hitting homers, it kind of be a different outlook. None of them have been like Burleson has had some good moments, but no one has done it consistently.
But Ali also said about 3 weeks ago, it's not fair what's happening with the outfield. I agree with you, except for their lineup is never consistent. Do they give any of these guys honestly, 9 straight games to just play. They can't really do that, especially early when you had Walker, because you have to figure out a way to get at bats for Burleson and for Carlson and for Newt now that he's healthy, and for Tyler O'Neill. That's why the roster doesn't make sense. At the end of the day, you have to make tough decisions. And I understand that these outfielders, nobody has come out and said, hey, this is my spot. But also, everybody's kind of, okay, I'm going to get a day off tomorrow. Lefty's out there. Oh, we're going to do matchups here and there. The roster just doesn't make sense right now. They have a lot of good players, and they have moving parts, but they don't have a lot of guys that every day you're like, that's my right fielder. That's my second baseman. Oh, Gorman can hit. He's fantastic. Is he really a second baseman? Okay, Jordan Walker, great bat. He's not really a right fielder. Alec Burleson, nice bat, especially early. Not a great outfielder. Dylan Carlson, best defensive option. Hasn't hit until last night. There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
You know what makes sense? Charlie Marlowe makes sense.
Yes, he does. Hey, Jackie Parlays chimes in and goes, if I'm Dylan Carlson, and I've been slumping for about a year and a half plus, I would have 100% tried to find a way to get that Ohtani home run ball from the stands. Me too. No,
That's
seriously.
what's important.
No, I'm serious on that. Like, if I hit a dinger off Ohtani, and I'm a young kid that I don't know where, I'm getting that damn ball. I don't know.
That's what this team is focused on.
That's what it's all about.
Souvenirs and trinkets.
I know.
And not winning baseball games.
I love a good trinket, but I want to win some ball games, Jimmy. You know? God, this text line, I mean, this has got to be probably one of the most insane text. How do I word this?
Last night was awful. I mean,
People were going nuts.
It was awful.
People are going nuts.
Demoralized.
Which sucks because they actually played really well.
They did.
Pretty good game.
They deserved to win that game. It just
Against
came
one of the
down to
best
that
pitchers.
last inning. Yeah.
Yeah, if you take away that last inning.
See, I'm learning.
I mean, if you take away Steven Matz's first inning the night before,
yeah, it would be great.
The Cardinals if they think about it, the Cardinals have won, the 16 out of 18 innings against the Angels. There you go. There you go.
I like the way you think.
Say that on Bally Sports Midwest tonight, all right?
Yeah.
Based on innings. Innings won.
Say that.
St. Louis Cardinals, first
Based
team to
on
get more than 3 hits against Ohtani.
I dare you to say that. Hey, look, if you look at the bright side, innings won, we're up there.
And if the Stars didn't give up
Jimmy.
4 goals in 10 minutes to the Kraken,
yeah.
they would have won too.
They would have won too.
You know what,
Funny
though?
how that works.
At the end of the game, absolute stud, monster, generational superstars won the game for the Angels.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day,
$500 million.
Ohtani and Trout did what they're supposed to do.
Yep.
Those are Hall of Famers. Ohtani might be the most talented baseball player in the history of Earth. Dead serious.
Pretty good.
Probably.
It's pretty good. Time to experiment. Bring up Wynn. Bring back Walker. Sign Sanchez and Baumgartner. Can't get worse. The Cobra.
Doesn't it look like
Baumgartner.
when Ohtani plays, it also looks like the game is effortless to him. Like everything.
Yes.
He does everything well.
Just the way he pitches, like, it's so athletic.
Yeah, he doesn't overthrow and the ball's hitting, 100 miles an hour.
Steal bases too.
Yeah.
Ohtani can run.
Yep.
So he's got everything.
Everything about him looks athletic as hell, dude.
Apologies for interrupting you, Jim.
He and Newt. Let's see here. Ollie is abrasive. Has a severe Napoleon complex. Saw it last year with C.B. Buckner. It's only gotten worse. If he's this abrasive in the front of the media, how well do you think he handles a conflict in a clubhouse? Players don't put up with that crap. He needs to go. And when he does, Mo will be following. Fire Schilt. Firing Schilt was the move that ended Mo's tenure with the Cardinals. 773. He ain't playing around. Put a name in.
Shilty.
By the way,
Bring him back.
Golly gee.
By the way, when things got tight, he lashed out too. And, that's what happens to managers. Like when things go bad, they try to keep their cool, and then they lash out a little bit. I don't think that that's awful. It shows they're human too. Last night, Ollie had something he wanted to say, and he was going to fit it in where best he could.
Hey, I liked it. It was entertaining. But I think we also all need to realize, and I think everybody does, since Tony La Russa left back in 2011, the managers of the St. Louis Cardinals have no juice. They don't. They just don't.
Yeah.
Matheny, Schilt, Marmol, the folks that run the show, it's Mozeliak and DeWitt. The managers are replaceable.
Done with the media.
Am I wrong?
They're all in-house hires too.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And I get the brain trust. You want to have now a decision-making circle that's not just the field manager. You want it to be Mozeliak and Gersh and the analytics department. But like Mozeliak runs the show, and DeWitt is his boss. So to act like Ali Marmol is really pulling strings here and there, he is on the field, but this isn't an old school manager like back in the day where the manager ran the show. The organization runs the show and has, especially since Tony La Russa left.
I get you on that, man. You gotta go? Man.
Fire him up down there.
Get him going, Jimmy.
I've got a pink tie on.
Kick the damn door down,
And
Jimmy.
a pink shirt.
Kick the door down. All right.
Jim, I'll be there. I'll try to rally the troops.
Oh,
Will you be
Seth,
there?
boys going.
Yeah, I'm going.
Who you going with?
My buddy from Westminster. we haven't seen each other in a while, so we're
All
gonna
right.
catch up.
Go down there.
That's awesome. Where are you going to
New
sit?
Otani.
I have no idea yet. He bought the tickets. So.
Text me, and I'm going to stop by and say.
Thank you.
I love that. Go there, have
I
a
might
good.
bring you some snacks.
There. Look at that.
You know, the Cardinals give me free snacks so I don't criticize them on the radio.
Ooh, Cam.
You gonna go to
He's got
patio?
food.
You gonna go to patio? You want some food? By the way, you hungry?
No, Jim's
Jim's
got me covered.
Jim, I got him.
Thanks, Jim.
I got him.
I'll give you real food, not
What do you need, buddy? Need something healthy?
I don't think we're gonna make it to patios.
No.
Just because I'm not gonna get to his house till 11:30.
Yeah.
It's an early one.
It's an early one, man. I like these. I like these early games. Like them a lot. Oh, hey, let's talk about a real ball game. How did Seth's softball game go? Seth's softball. I don't like saying
right.
that. Well, let's tease it.
Ooh, forgot about that.
I have to tell you now.
What?
I didn't go.
Why?
We played at 9:30 and 10:30.
So?
And I told the guys, we have like 18 guys on the team, and I said, look, guys, my sister flew in town last night from Denver, and she's only staying here 3 days. I see her, I don't know, 10 days a year, and I wanted to hang out with her. And we already have so many guys on the
Sweet
team.
guy.
They
suck anyway.
It was also kind of my way of saying F you to the league for putting us at an 8:30, 9:30 game week in and week out. They haven't given us a 6:30 game yet.
Well, because you guys are terrible.
And then
you got to win a game, and they'll give you the earlier slot.
Sally makes the
even though the
Yeah.
schedule is
That's all I
pre-made.
know.
No, but I wasn't gonna. I didn't want to show up, drive a half hour plus
Hell
to play an hour, and then turn back around
10:30 game?
and then be home at 11.
No.
But if I get home at 11, I got to shower. I'm gonna eat. I got to do my research.
You got
and then
look
it's,
things up.
It's midnight. I want a good night's sleep.
Good for you, man. That's all good. Don't worry about it.
Next week.
Nobody's going to mention the fact that Newt let 2 fly balls drop in front of him on consecutive nights. Yeah, he's probably thinking of Otani the whole time.